Hi guys, Mark here with Wolters World, and today what we're talking about are the types of brands that you will find out there from companies. Also looking at brand extensions and the bad side of brand extensions, brand dilution. Now you may ask yourself, what's the big deal with brands? Why is branding becoming so important? Well, one of the reasons why it's becoming so important, people, is because a brand can add value to the product, help you make more money, because a brand is an experience. And the better experience we can offer to our customers, the more money they're willing to spend on it, the more value they're going to put into our products, and this can help us out. And in general, that's the direction that business is moving. Now, overall, if we look at the types of brands that are out there, they fall into two main categories. You have manufacturer brands, okay, those are like the Sony kind of brands. You buy a Sony TV, that's the Sony brand. If you buy an Apple, iPad, that's an Apple product. That's their brand names. It's a manufacturer brand name because the manufacturer that makes it is also the one selling it. And the other side, what you have are what are called private distributor brands or private labels, which is becoming more popular these days. And this is when retailers actually make their own brands in order to sell products, and eliminate, basically some of the advertising and marketing costs that sometimes happen in manufacturing brands. They're called manufacturer brands. And you'll see that if you go to Walmart, they have their great value lines, okay? Target has its up and up. They have these private labels in order to help them make more money and basically build a brand around that so people value that up and up brand from Target that, I'm going to go Target to buy the up and up because I like it. And people can identify with it. And of course, if we own the private label, it helps us to keep our clients close by. Now, generally in these private label products, the reason they're doing it is because they're going to get a higher margin on it than they would from a manufactured brand. Okay, and so higher margin means more money, which is nice. And you see this a lot in food. Like I was talking about the great value. You got their sodas and their potato chips and even milk. When you go buy milk, most of the time you'll see a brand name, like a manufacturer, like a Prairie Farms milk, and then you'll see whatever your grocery store is, their milk. Whether it is a Walmart milk or a Meyer milk or whatever, they'll have their own private label one there, which will be cheaper, but they might be making actually more money on that. Now, if we look at specific kinds of private label brands, there's four I want to talk about. One is what's called a premium private label. This is where you make a premium product out of it. And this, it'll only work with certain companies, certain things. Walmart couldn't really have a premium food thing of their private labels because you don't associate premium with Walmart. But a Schnucks or a County Market or a Target, kind of a higher end, or a Macy's, a higher end retailer, they could do that and develop a premium product for themselves that's comparable to the manufacturer's brand, and people will see that way and they'll actually go and buy that from them. The second thing, and the private label we most know for, are the generic ones, just the cheap version of things like the great value brands at Walmart, which is basically, it's pasta. You see a picture of the pasta, it says great value. You do the math kind of stuff, it's there, so we get some cash there. Another thing what you see is copycat brands. Okay, these copycat brands, they're not always just private label ones. This can be pretty much anywhere. And what happens is they basically find a manufacturer product or a manufacturer brand that's popular and make something very similar to it. So we have I Can't Believe It's Not Butter, which is the manufacturer one, and then they'll have You Butter Believe It, which will be a copycat brand that people aren't sure if it's the same brand or not, and they kind of leech off of the manufacturer brand's advertising and all these kind of things. And then you have what's called an exclusive co-branding. Maybe two companies will get together to brand things, like you'll have your United Mileage Plus Visa card. Okay, so two brands will work together in order to do their own kind of credit card out there. Now, when you look at the different kinds of brands that are out there, there are a lot of different branding because you're not sure. When you look at your Kellogg's, box, there's Kellogg's, there's Fruit Loops, there's the gluten-free. What are the different? What's the actual brand names? How's it set up? Well, I have my guitar here. All right. Now, this guitar here is actually very helpful because it has 3 different kinds of brand names on it. And the first thing I want to talk about is you have what's called an overall family brand or overall family branding. This would be for Kellogg's in general. That would be their thing. But here, this guitar is made by Gibson. That's the big family brand. And it actually says right here, it says Gibson. Okay, now then what you have is what's called your line family brand or your line brand. Okay, now this is not a Gibson guitar per se, it's an Epiphone guitar. That's the product line. Okay, so family brand, line brand. All right, and then we have the individual product, or what's called individual brand, individual branding, and that's the Les Paul model. So we see these things out there, and there's all kinds of different brands, because Gibson could have a commercial just for Gibson guitars, okay, for all the different Gibson stuff that's out there, because it's not just guitars. They have, you know, capos and picks and all kinds of things. All right, but they look at it and say, okay, we can sell from the Gibson name, we can sell the Epiphone line of guitars, or we can sell the specific, you know, individual brand. So those are the different kind of brands that are out there that we could be looking at. Okay, so we've got this brand name, whether it's the family brand, the individual brand, or our product line brand, or whatever, we have this out there, and it's building goodwill, and we want to use this goodwill because, hey, people know that brand, they buy that brand, so what can we do to make more money from it? And that's where brand extensions have come from. Basically, if you look at it, Coca-Cola has many brand extensions. There's Coca-Cola, the red can. Then they've got Diet Coke. And they've got Coke Zero, and they got Coke with lemon, Coke with lime, sugar-free Coke, I don't know, diet caffeine-free lemon lime Coke. I mean, they've got all these different things out there, all these different brand extensions that are out there, and it's really great. You see things, you know, Gibson, you know, they have their Gibson guitars, they have their Epiphone guitars, electric style, they have their acoustic style, they have their capos, like I said. They have their picks out there. They're extending their brand, all these different things. And they say, hey, there's new markets out there we can go. We can try to get little kids to want to play guitar that don't know how to like strum. So, hey, we can get them a plastic one. Hey, we see there's a popular new game out there, Guitar Hero, and we can build things for that to extend our brand. Now, the thing is, though, if you keep extending your brand, how far is too far? So how far is too far? Well, this idea of going too far, this is what's called brand dilution. It's when you've extended the brand so many times that actually the brand is suffering. It's not getting as good of an idea. It's not getting as good of, it's not building as much goodwill as it used to, and sometimes actually be hurting it. You know, if I'm a hardcore guitar player, do I really want to see a Guitar Hero thing with Gibson on it? It makes my Gibson, or my Epiphone, which is my Gibson, look cheap. But Gibson thought, hey, you know what? We can make a lot of money on this because we can sell a lot more of these than we can of those because people play video games. Well, we look at these things, but you have to ask, is it going to hurt our product? So how do we decide if it's going to hurt our product? How do we decide if there's going to be a brand dilution? Well, one thing is, look at the class of product that you're going to be extending the brand to, and does it relate to it? So yeah, the Guitar Hero controller guitar, it gets kids to play music, gets people to play music, and yes, a guitar does that as well. So okay, I can see how that extension kind of works, okay? Also, you want to look at consumers, okay? How do consumers feel about this? Will they understand it? I mean, it makes sense going from electric guitars to acoustic guitars to the guitar, you know, controllers for games. Okay, that makes sense to me. But when Cheetos comes out with lip balm, okay, Cheetos, you know, the cheesy treat you eat, crunchy stuff, they actually had like a lipstick that tasted like Cheetos. Does that make sense? Do you associate Cheetos and facial hygiene products? No. So you want to look at that side. Look at the customers' perceptions that are out there, okay? What's important for them. Now, another thing is you want to make sure you don't, you know, extend your product too many times, too many ways, because sometimes you need to draw the line. That's why they don't call it Orange Coke, they call it Fanta. They don't call it Crystal Coke, they call it Sprite. Okay, so you need to make sure you can draw some lines. How far do we really want to go with this? Okay, and another thing is when you look at the product, when you extend the product brand, is it going far enough away from it? Is there a distinct difference between my Coca-Cola and Coke Zero? And this is the thing that people have to think about. Like Coca-Cola, they had to really look at it. Okay, when we do our Coke Zero brand extension, what can we do to make that brand different from Coke Zero and Diet Coke? How do we make them different? How do we do that? Well, they went for the advertising was different, the packaging was different, these kind of things to give each brand its own kind of identity. Okay, so that brand extension from the normal Coke was successful for both of them. So, I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about the types of brands that are out there, the way that we can do brand extensions, and things we have to watch out for so we don't have brand dilution. So if you have more questions on branding, marketing, business stuff, all kinds of things, check us out on our website at www.woltersworld.com. We're on Twitter and Facebook. We're doing the brand extensions all kinds of places. I think we have t-shirts now too. I'm not sure. But anyway, we're going out there to see what works for everybody. But if you have any questions, please leave a comment below or email us. It's totally fine. So thanks for watching and good luck. Bye.